Alright, today is all about factoring polynomials. So before we factor anything, that first line it says, remember you cannot factor into the equation is what? Equal to what? That's correct. Has to be in standard form, equal to 0. Come on, don't act up today. This thing hates me. Okay. Yes, has to be equal to 0. You can go ahead and fill in that. Alright, the first four are alike in some way. The only difference between these four problems is what? What do you see a common difference between? There's one that's not like the rest. Which one is that? Number 2, the addition one, right? Alright, and all of these, it has 2 terms. So if you look up here, when you go to factor, if it has 2 terms in it, it's either going to be difference of squares, sum of cubes, or difference of cubes. But we know this one's going to be difference of squares. The reason why, difference means what? Subtract. And there's a subtraction sign. And also we know it can't be difference of cubes. Why? Because it's squared, right? So we're going to use this formula. Okay, but let me explain how we're going to use it. It says a squared minus b squared equals a plus b and a minus b. Okay? So write this up underneath it. A squared minus b squared. That's what form it has to be in. And all we have to do from here for number 1 is just find out what is a and what is b. Okay, so if it's a squared, what is our a going to be? Just x, right? So write a equals x, because again, a squared is x squared. Our a, so if you just square it, it's going to be x, right? So basically, you're just taking the square root. And then what is b squared going to be? Our negative 9 is b squared, if that makes sense. So what is just b going to be? 3 or what? And notice in our factored form how it said a squared minus b squared equals a plus b and a minus b. That's because it could be a positive 3 or a negative 3, correct? So the way we would write it as 2 binomials, again, it would be a plus b, so x plus 3, and what? X minus 3. And that's how you factor this one. Go ahead and set it equal to 0. You can stop there. And if you want to check this, how could, yes, that. We took the square root of this term. Oh, no. This is saying that 9 is b squared. We're trying to find just b. So if you're finding just b from b squared, we would have to take the square root of it for it to just be b. So same thing here. We just have to take the square root and it'd be 3. How would we check this once we have our final answer? What could we do? Say that again. We'll get to that in a second. And what? Full. Good. If we were to fold this out, and y'all don't have to write this down, I'm just going to write it. The first terms multiplied together would be what? Outer terms. Inside terms. And then last terms. See how the middle terms cancel out? We could know they cancel out by just looking at this. We could add these together to get our middle term. That's going to be 0. Multiply together to get our last term, which is negative 9. So this is correct.
So, like, do
we have to what?
Check it every time?
No. I'm just showing you that it's correct and how you could check it if you wanted to. Alright, let's come back to number 2. Let's go ahead and do number 3 together. Alright. So on number 3, could we take the square root of 3 and it be a pretty number? No, it would be irrational, right? So any other things that we could do for this one to factor it? What do we notice about it? It has an exponent. What's the difference between these two? How are they different? 9 has an x, right? So with every one, see how it says any number at the top of the chart? Any number you could use what? Y'all don't look at the chart. Look at the chart beside, not the projector screen. The chart. See how it says number of terms? Any number, you could pull out the what? Yeah, if they have it, right? So do these have anything in common? Yeah. Notice how these didn't except for 1, right? So we had to do this. These have something in common. What's that going to be? 3 and x. Good. So what would have to go on the inside? Go ahead. Yep, that's it. Those are easy to factor. So again, the reason I got x, because 3x squared divided by 3x, negative 9x divided by 3x would be negative 3.
That's nice.
Yep, that's it. We factored it. Alright, can we do that with this one? Good, because the only thing they have in common is what? 1, right? So we're going to have to use difference of squares. So what would be the square root of 4x to the 4th power? 2x squared. Good, so that's our a. What is our b? Good, plus or minus 5. Oops, sorry. So let's see if y'all can tell me the two binomials. It's going to be what? Can everybody see the formula on the chart, or do we need to write that down on our paper? For difference of squares. Alright, write it at the top. DOS equals a squared minus b squared. So if it's in this form, it would factor out to be a plus b and a minus b. So for this problem, we have our a and our b. Now all we have to do is fill it in this. So it'd be what? And yeah, and it wouldn't matter what order you put these in. If you wanted to put 2x squared minus 5 first, you could. So the order of these doesn't matter as long as you have a plus and a minus, because we need the middle terms to cancel out. Questions about that one?
How would you
You would do first term, so that's 4x squared, or 4x to the 4th. Outer would be minus 10x squared. Inner would be plus 10x squared, so those would cancel out. And then the last term is going to be minus 25. So you get 4x to the 4th minus 25.
You got 10x squared.
Outer terms. Okay. Now let's go back to number 2. We can't, they don't have anything in common, right? It's not really difference of cubes or squares. But we notice the middle term cancels out, right? So whatever our answer is, when we fold it, the middle term has to cancel out. So it's got to look like this, the end, right? In order for the middle terms to cancel out, and these have to be the same. Any ideas about what numbers we could square to get, or multiply together to get positive 9, but they would cancel out? Just name some things y'all have in y'all's head. 3 and 3, right? If we did x plus 3, though, let me write it here. If we did x plus 3 and x plus 3, what would our middle term be? 6x, right? Because we do x squared plus 3x plus 9. So the middle terms wouldn't cancel out. Any other ideas what these could be?
So we're trying to get 9, but the middle square got to cancel.
Yeah, the middles have to cancel. They have to be the same number, but different signs, and they have to multiply together to get 9. If we did x plus 9 and x plus 1, is that what you were thinking? But then the middle term would be 10, right? We don't have a middle term. Okay, if we did that, that would be the same thing here. So that would give us a minus 9, right? If we multiply them, we need a plus 9. There is two numbers. Nope, one's negative and one's positive. It has to be to equal 0, right? One negative, one positive, same number. Alright, think about algebra. If we were going to solve this by algebra to find the roots, we could have solved this one by algebra, right? We would do what to solve this one? Add 9 to this side, so we get x squared equals 9, and then we would do what? Square root, so we get plus or minus 3, right? Notice how that's going to be our answers if we set these both to 0. So let's do it for this one. This time we'd have to do what? Subtract 9. So we get x squared equals negative 9. Go ahead and write that up here. Then if we take the square root of both sides to find x, x would be what? Or plus or minus 3i. Because if you take the square root of a negative number, it has to have I in it, right? So from here, we can just make our two binomials. It'd be what? And, yep. Any questions about that one? Because 3i minus 3i is going to be 0, right? What's 3i times 3i? Negative 9. Because 3 times 3, negative 3. No, it would be positive 9. Yeah, that's good. Sorry. Alright, so those are difference of cubes or with two terms.
So anytime if it's like positive, it'll come back to 2i.
Yeah, if it's x squared plus like 16, it'd be x plus 4i, x minus 4i. Alright, now let's talk about difference in sum of cubes. And that's up there as well for two terms, but it's hard to see, so we're going to write it on here. So sum of cubes, here's the formula. Oops. There we go. It's going to be ax plus b times a squared x squared minus axb plus b squared. And you won't have to memorize this. This will be given to you on your test when it comes time. This one's ax minus b, so just changing the sign here. A squared x squared plus axb plus b squared. So same thing here. All we have to identify is what is our a, what is our b, and then we just plug it in the formula. But for number 5, what do we have to do first? Remember, we can't factor until it's set equal to what? Yeah, so we got to subtract 27 from both sides. And that would give us 8x cubed minus 27 equals 0. Alright, because this is talking about cubed, to find our a in this one, we're going to have to take the cube of these terms. We know the cube of x cubed is going to be what? What's the, okay, if I took x squared and asked you what was the square root of x squared, you would tell me what? If I told you what was the cube root of x cubed, you would tell me? Yeah. So the cube root of x cubed is going to be x. Anybody know the cube root of 8? What number could you cube to get 8? 2. And here's the easy way to find it. Y'all got your calculators? I'll show you how to type it in your calculator and find it. Put it under the screen. You just type in 8 and then raise 2, so this button, arrow. So it should look like 8 raised to the, and then put parentheses. And instead of raising it to the third power, you're raising it to the 1/3 power. So you're finding the cube root. So 1 divided by 3, close your parentheses like this, and then hit enter. And it should give you 2. So tell me what the cube root of 27 will be then. Good. And if you don't have like a type of calculator like this, I'll try to help you at the end of class, show you where that button is. Okay.
Can you explain how you got 3? Like, how would you type that in?
Yeah, I'll put it up here. So it'd be 27 raised to, and then in parentheses you'll put 1 divided by 3. And then close your parentheses and hit enter.
Why is this one not plus or minus? Oh, is it because it's cubed?
Yeah. What now?
Why is this one not plus or minus?
Because it's a cube root, it's an odd root, and also the formula will tell you whether it's going to be plus or minus 3. Alright, so we have our A, we have our B. Is this sum of cubes or difference of cubes? Is it adding or subtracting? Subtracting, so it's different of cubes. So literally all you have to do is just plug in your A and your B. So this is how it'd look. It'd be 2x minus 3. And then A squared, so 2 squared, that's going to be what? 4. And then x squared is going to be what? X squared. Alright, plus A times X times B, that just means you're multiplying A and B together, which will give us what? 6x. And then the last one's B squared, so B squared would be what? 9. That's it. So the hardest part is just finding out A and B. The rest of it's just plugging it in the formula. That's all. Any questions about this part?
If it's like number 6 where it's already on the same side, do you just...
Yep, we can just jump right into finding A and B. So A in this case would be what? Was the cube root of x cubed. Good.
Teachers and students, could I please have your attention for quick announcements? We'd like to send congratulations to Tyler Couch, who is signing a letter of intent to play football at Birmingham Southern College. We are proud of you, Tyler, and look forward to cheering you on at the next level of play. Teachers, after you have taken attendance in third period, please release all football players, varsity cheerleaders, and invited students participating in Tyler's signing to the auditorium. Invited students will have an invitation notice, so if there's any questions, they will be have an excuse. And again, congratulations, Tyler. And they're to go to the auditorium.
Alright, what's the cube root of 64? Anybody find it? Everybody know how to find it? 4. Okay. And now we just plug it in the formula, but which one this time? Sum of cubes, yeah. So CJ, tell me how to write my answer. Mm-hmm.
X squared. 16. No. Is it minus?
Minus, because the minus. And then A times X times B, so just these two multiplied together.
54x
And then B squared.
plus 16.
Good. So this one is kind of weird. If it says A, that's talking about the number in front of X. We just happen to have a 1 there.
Oh, okay. That's what I was
Yeah.
Wait, how do we get the 2 on the top?
This one, because our A is 2. So AX would be 2X. AX is 2X. On this one, we didn't have a number in front, so we just treat it as 1. So you don't have to write it.
So when you plug all that stuff into your calculator, that's not to find your A, that's to find your 2.
Yeah, the cube root of 64. Your A is going to be this cube root.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be this cube root. We'll start with Cortex tomorrow. Y'all can go ahead and pack up.
You just want me to come in there.
Yeah, that'll be fine. You too, Zach. Make sure you come tomorrow morning. Shouldn't take y'all but a second to finish it.